And Micah says, woe is me, for I am as when they have gathered summer fruits. I'm trying to see where the light is. Thank you. I'm very glad. I'll take this one. Yeah, good. That's even better. As the grape gleanings of the vintage, there is no cluster to eat. So my soul desireth the first ripe fruit. The good man is perished out of the earth, and there is none upright among men. They all lie in wait for blood. They hunt every man his brother with a net, that they may do evil with both hands earnestly. The prince asketh, and the judge asketh for a reward. And the great man, he uttereth his mischievous desire, so they wrap it up. The best of them is as a briar. The most upright is sharper than a thorn hedge. The day of thy watchman, the day of thy visitation cometh. Now shall be their perplexity. Trust ye not in a friend. Put ye not confidence in a God. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. For the son dishonoreth the father. The daughter riseth up against her mother. The daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house. Ooh. Therefore I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for the Lord of my salvation. My God will hear me. I want you to look at somebody just for a few minutes. Don't look at him for a few minutes, but I'm going to talk for a few minutes. Just tell him, I know who to trust. I know who to trust. Trust defined, and I'm beginning to understand that the state of man, unregenerated, has not changed much from Israel's behavior. Yeah. It's hard to find good people. The evil in the world has escalated to a proportion that none of us can handle without God. No, seriously speaking, it's if we don't find ourselves as perpetrators, we find ourselves as victims. But there is always a clash. Haven't you found in your life yet that you come out of one situation and you patch it up, and sometimes you pray the patch holds, and then you get into another situation almost immediately after. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 different situations and 3 or 4 different attitudes coming at you the same time. When I understand trust defined generally from the Hebrew, and particularly when we talk Hebrew here, it means firmness or certainty. The Greeks took it a little further, and they said absolute certainty. And the etymological root, the concept of trust is a baby in the arms of a strong parent. The total lack of concern, because a little child is in the arms of a parent and is just satisfied and trusting. When Noel was a little boy, I did something very foolish. I put him between my legs like this, and I tossed him up as high as I could get him. And when I caught him, the inertia, the move was so vicious until his little feet broke my lip. Instead of him, he was real little, you know, but he should have hollered and slid down and crawled away as fast as he could. He wanted to go back up because his mind had no doubt, because he wasn't introduced to anything called pain. Now, had he fallen, he would have been broken. And psychologically, something would have snapped. Because trust, if it's absolute certainty, then it is a place of comfort. Can I take it further? To trust then is, as the Greek paradidomai, would be to give over or to deliver or completely entrust something to a person. And that is, I give you my life. Another Greek concept is to give beforehand. And that is, I don't wait until you give me, but I give you beforehand because I trust you. And one of the things that's so difficult, and whenever you do construction, one of the first things you do is make sure you have a lawyer, because construction is litigated as much, if not more, than any other piece of business. God bless. My mother got here. And the reason for the litigation is that you have bought the materials and the contractor wants money up front. And then you don't see him. Sometimes he takes your money and buys materials for another job. But he wants you to give yours up front because you're seeking, you have to trust. We've got smart now, so what we do is we let him work a while. We don't hire a contractor that you got to give money to up front. You hire one who's capable, and then the bank goes down there and checks the work before they release the money, because it's hard to find good people. Oh, I can hoop anytime, I promise. If trust then is regarded as absolute certainty, then the question becomes, what happens when it's broken? When somebody breaks your trust. The second question is, can it ever become absolute again? Now, you know, the trust is broken. You have forgiven. But did the forgiveness weld the trust again? You can forgive and be around, but still don't trust. I have a wonderful piece of pipe, and I broke the pipe. Can the weld make that pipe perfect again? See the difficulty? Now, you end up in a situation where, because absolute certainty in your behavior, and I trust you absolutely, and then it's broken. For the other definition, to give beforehand. So I've given beforehand with an expectation that it's coming back to me equally. Then I've been shattered because when I gave beforehand, you totally ignored what I did and maybe didn't care. And now I'm broken. So I'm caught now in a situation where if there is forgiveness, I've got to forgive two people. I got to forgive myself for having given beforehand in expectation that you would do me right. And then I have to forgive you for having shattered my trust. And now things become a little more difficult. Because will I ever be able to walk with you like we walked before without having a little birdie flying in the back of my head that says maybe, just maybe, you know. It is critical here because the writer is really saying to us that you can have no confidence in the flesh. He's saying to me that none of us as human beings literally have enough information to know who or what to trust. And what is opened up to me is, if never before, I have to do it now. And that is, in all thy ways, acknowledge him. And he will direct, oh God, every one of us now in the choices of life, from getting on an airplane to buying a car, to buying a house, to choosing an apartment, to getting in a relationship. Nothing that's major in your life, minor too, because he's not limited it to the big things. He said, in all thy ways, in all thy ways, Don't move without consulting me. Don't sign a check without consulting me. Don't take a job without consulting me. In all thy ways. You see, the reason we're in this house is not because of one another. The reason we're in this house is because of God. And what God is saying, if you're my child, then let me direct you, because you don't know where to go. You don't know how to move. You need my direction, because I've got everything scoped out. And when I start moving and taking folk out your life, I got to take some folk out your life so I can put some good ones in there. Because you run into so much negative. Because you deal with so much pain. Emotionally and psychologically, because the good man is gone. And immediately we lower our expectation. Because once trust is broken, expectation lessens. We begin now to be very cynical and skeptical, is a better word, when we deal with people. When we deal with people, because we feel now like we're in a precarious, precipitous sort of arena. Because I'm going to take a chance. I'm taking a chance, but I'm taking a chance, I heard the word cautiously. Because when they threw me up, they didn't catch me. And so I approach my next job or my next investment or my next relationship, I approach it with suspicion. Because of the previous pains, I'm coming into this new thing with old memories. Oh God. And sometimes it's extremely difficult to heal. Now, we talk about healing all the time. But you heal with scars. I wish somebody understood me. Jacob wrestled with God, and he tapped him in the socket, and he ended up limping. His name was changed from Jacob to Israel. But even though he was healed, he was still limping. See, the situation now becomes that you lower expectation as a defense mechanism to keep from being hurt. Oh, God. But now, because you lowered your expectation, you end up getting what you feared. The thing is, now I come to the table and my expectation has been reduced. But it comes across the table as suspicion. Should I do that again? Because I'm hurt and I'm defending myself. And I'm anticipating that something can go off here just like it did before. So what I do is I approach cautiously and suspiciously, because I'm looking for the possibility of what could happen if I give first. So over here now it comes over and my radar is picking up suspicion. and I'm picking up a lack of trust. So what I do is I say to myself, well, you don't trust me, why should I trust you? And so I lower in order to deal with what I feel. And you lower in order to deal with what you have been through. Oh, God, help me. Now, it gets even more difficult when everybody in the room has been through something. So I'm approaching you with fear, and you approaching me with fear. So we ain't got nothing jumping off over but fear over there and fear over here. And I'm coming in defending me, and you're coming in defending you, when none of us have anything to defend because we don't know each other. I wish you'd get it. See, here again, only God can heal. And only God can bring you to the place where you can get over what you've been through. And that's the time you need to wait until you get over what you've been through before you try to go through something else. Oh, I feel like, so you walk up to the table and your expectations are up here, and you say immediately, here's where I am. Now, if you can't climb this mountain, then we can just walk away right now. Because if you're not going to be fair in business, if you're not going to be fair on this job, if you're not going to be fair in this relationship, fair with these products, fair, then I don't need to deal with you. I'd rather be right here by myself with peace and joy than to deal with another criminal. I wish somebody'd give God some praise. Can I go deeper before I go higher? When you examine the issue of trust, then you have to also deal with the issue of commitment. Because there's absolutely no way to commit to what you don't trust. You'll go along for the ride, but you're not going to release all of yourself because you don't trust. And when you don't trust, you have to control. Oh, yes. Anybody who has trust issues have control issues, because if I don't trust you, then I've got to control you. I'm talking to somebody. Maybe I'm talking to myself. I've got to always keep you on lockdown. And in business, I've got to have access to the books. I've got to be able to check. And many times I put somebody on you to watch you when I can't watch you myself. Because if I don't trust you, you're not going out of town by yourself. If I don't trust you, you're not going cross town by yourself. And you can't really commit yourself totally to what you don't believe in. Let me take a little further. You can't commit yourself to what you doubt. So if you're around, it has to be another reason for being around than for trust and commitment. You may just be around for the car. You just may be around for the house. But if the car and the house wasn't there, you wouldn't be there, because you can't commit yourself to what you don't trust. Oh God, I feel something heavy in here. I'll take the trinkets, but I don't trust you. I'll take the trinkets, but I'm not committed to you. I'll take the trinkets if I have some measure of control. Woo. It's an interesting thing, though, that God now puts us in a place where nobody can put confidence in the flesh. It's not always that somebody is out to get you. Sometimes they just don't have the strength. Let me work this just a little bit more. To show you the commitment, I asked the question as I was working this thing out. Did the Hebrew boys have any doubts? And the question is, who were they committed to? Now, Lord have mercy. To trust in God is not so easy, because I've gone over with you many times that these boys saw their armies defeated, king humiliated, his sons decapitated, temple desecrated, utensils contaminated. The boys' names were changed from Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, from holy Jehovahistic, Elohistic names to Babylonian pagan names. And then they were castrated. Now, I have talked to people who are having difficult times in life. And they tell me that they are having faith problems. And many of us have gone through some things, and because of what we went through, we even stopped coming to church. Because we had difficulties, family breakup, kids going crazy, and as mother dies, father dies at an early age, and we've been abandoned, and we have doubt about God. Now, I have not seen the armies defeated and all of the stuff the Hebrew boys went through. So the question is, what were they committed to? And in what did they trust? Well, they could not have been committed to deliverance. And they weren't committed to Nebuchadnezzar. They weren't committed to anybody but God. Because if you can be caught in a situation where everything has gone downhill in your life, and you can look a man in the face and say, we're not careful to answer you concerning this matter, but the God we serve is able, and he will. But if not, I wish somebody talked to me here. You see, faith and commitment and trust. To trust you, I have to have faith in you. And in order to commit to you, I have to have trust and faith in who you are. And God knows the only one that we can have any real faith in and trust in is God. I don't trust you to be good to me. I trust God to make you. Oh, I feel a breakthrough coming. We're going to have a little church, Pat. Don't get say too far. It is a critical piece here, because it is a matter of living a life on a day-to-day basis with some peace. Because unless I have confidence and trust in God, the vicissitudinous changes of my life come so rapidly that I'm always going through some kind of change. And in order for me to have any kind of peace, I have to have some settlement. I'm learning that greatness is in habit. That there has to be a certain habit. I can't, it's in simplicity. I just can't go from one thing to the other, my mind going crazy. And what I've discovered now is that I have to have confidence that there is someone around who will hold things together. And the only one I know who can hold this world together is God himself. You get on a plane now, and you can't get on a plane with confidence in a pilot. You can't get on a plane with confidence in avionics. You can't get on a plane with confidence in the mechanics of the plane. And you can't get on a plane confident about who is on the plane. You can only get on that plane if you have trust in God, because you know God is the one that's looking at circumstances and God is controlling the situation. You can't move without confidence in God, because the good man is gone out of the earth. Can I preach like I feel it? Give somebody a high five and say, don't do anything without God. Micah now prophesied during Ahaz's reign, and it was a very bad time. If you look at 2 Kings 17, you will find that it was a very bad time. The people were deceived. And when Micah began to speak in 3 and 5, he said, "Thus saith the Lord concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry peace. He that putteth not into their mouths, they even before prepare war against him," unquote. The people were so confused that they began to do human sacrifice. That's why the Lord said through Micah, "Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, or with 10,000 rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul?" And the response from God is, "He showeth thee, O man, what is good. And what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly before thy God." It had come to the place where you couldn't go anywhere and somebody not connive against you. Oh God, I might as well just preach it. You couldn't go anywhere where there was something that was not affecting you, where the devil using people to hurt you constantly and consistently. And the devil operates in people. People make places good and people make places bad. You can live in a hut, in a shack with the right person and have a lot of fun. You can be in a mansion with the wrong person and try to live on the rooftop. I feel like shouting up here. You can go to a job that does not pay very well and still enjoy going. You can go to another job that pays a lot of money and you don't even want to go. How many mornings have you awakened and didn't even feel like putting on your clothes, and yet still you had a job that was producing a whole lot of money? You see, the wonderful thing about God is he operates in simplicity, and he does not complicate things and got you trying to figure him out every minute, because Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He does not switch his moods. Oh God, you can approach him no matter what time of day or night and he will respond the same way, because he does not put you through vicissitudinous changes. What he does is he's constant and consistent. If you praise him today, he'll receive it today. If you glorify him tomorrow, it's the same thing. If you wait 3 weeks and give him some more praise, he'll respond the same way. And that's why the devil hasn't defeated us yet, because no matter who and what he throws at us, we find a little time to praise. And what we say is like Job, "The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh, blessed be the name of the Lord." I'm almost there. It's critical because he does not want us simply to give him a lot of lip service. What he's saying to you and I is, I don't need 10,000 rams or 10,000 rivers of oil, and I don't want you to give your firstborn to anybody. You don't have to go to human sacrifice. Oh God, I feel like shouting. The demand that God puts on me is his yoke is easy and his burdens are light. And the devil wants to put on me the way of the transgressor is hard. You see, the church should be a place where you can find some good people. Oh God, I feel like shouting now. The church should be a place where you can trust people and you can give the normalness of your life. You can live and walk in this place and just be happy because you don't feel like anybody's sitting here waiting to cut your throat. Because the house of God should be a place where people can serve one another, help one another, lift one another, give praise to each other, and enjoy one another. This is the last place you want to walk in and have haters. Everybody in here ought to be glad for what God is doing in your life. I feel it here. I feel the end. I'm close to the end. It's a critical thing because what the writer does is he picks out some categories. He opens by saying, I can't even get any fruit. The first fruit is gone. He said, I look to the summer where the fruit should be and the gleanings of the vintage should be great. I should have things flowing everywhere. But I'm going hungry because the good man is perished from the earth. The psalmist looked at it and he said, help, Lord, for the godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fail among the children of men. He is saying, I'm searching through. Solomon said, I looked through 1,000 and I could only find one man. He could only find one out of 1,000. He said, I looked through the same number of women and I couldn't find one. Now I will propose to you that maybe he was a little backslidden over in Ecclesiastes, and the writers say he was slipping in Ecclesiastes. So I'm gonna put that to you. Maybe that'll ease the pressure and I won't have to call security. But can you imagine then, out of 2,000 there is only one person that's good out of 2,000. Now Solomon had the means in order to be able to test 1,000 women and have 1,000 men. You and I don't have the means. So we can only go to God, because God is the one who has the resources to give your spirit the discernment of what you are about to get yourself in. And if you're a child of God, you can't trust your own understanding because you can't lean to your understanding. Can I talk to someone? You got yourself in a mess before because you lean to your own understanding, and you thought you had it made before because you lean to your own understanding. And when you lean to your own understanding, you only end up with a lot of pain. But when you go to God and he directs your path, sometimes you wonder why he moves some things out of your life that you thought would be the best blessing you would ever have, because God wasn't looking at the now. He was looking down the road at the then, and he knew that what looked good now was going to hurt you later, because everything that's good to you is not good for you. And I feel like having just a little church. He says the good man is gone out of the earth. And the next thing you've got to find is that there is violence is rampant. That's the next point he made. I hope I'm going with this thing right. Yes, he says they lay in wait for blood. Oh God, I feel like preaching. You know, sometimes people get close to you not because they care about you. Some people get close to you because of what you have or what they think they can get. And after they use it up, then they're gone to the next person. I feel like shouting. Can I get some help from somebody? I know the thing is deep and a little bit rough, but give somebody a high five and said, I've been through that. Oh yeah, I've been through that. I've been through that where somebody just scoped you out because of what you had, or scoped you out because of the way you look. And after they get finished with you, they leave you on a heap, all broken and disturbed, because people will use you and not give anything back. They will not reciprocate. There is no reciprocity, no mutuality. And that's why the writer said they just wait for blood. Some people, when they see you on the mountaintop, they're just sitting there waiting for you to fall. Some people just want to talk about you negatively after you have risen to a certain height. But I'm so glad if you have no haters, you ain't doing nothing. But when God begins to elevate you to the next level, look out for haters, but give him praise, because the haters didn't put you up, and the haters can't bring you. I feel like having little church. I feel like giving God some praise. He said the violence is everywhere. Then they connive evil. You know, it's one thing for evil just to show up, but when you sit down and plan the evil, can I talk to the saints in here? Don't sit down and fret yourself over evildoers. Don't sit around and connive to hurt anybody because somebody hurt you. Don't try to get back at anybody, because I heard the Lord say, vengeance is mine and I will repay. So don't get in God's way, because I heard the writer say, the day of their visitation cometh. I don't have to whoop up on anybody, because God told me, I wish I had a voice, to pray for them that despitefully use you. You give God a word for them. I feel something wonderful in here. Can you imagine where you have arisen to, where somebody's done you wrong, and you roll out of your bed on your knees, and instead of saying, Lord, get them, you say, Lord, bless them, because I'm in a place where I've elevated above being evil for evil folk. If you want to be evil to me, that's your business, but the God I serve will keep me and take care of you. So I don't have to call him out, because he's already watching. And I heard him when he said, if you hurt the least one of these, you might as well tie a mill thing around your neck and fall into the utmost part of the sea. I don't care if nobody else is evil and good, then I just want to be what God would have me to be. Can I get ready to close? He takes us a little higher, and he said even the leaders are no good because they seek bribes. So when you go to take care of your business looking for justice, they end up polluting justice for money's sake. The best are hypocrites. They'll smile in your face and stab you in the back. Look just like a rosebud. I feel like preaching in here. Give somebody a high five and say, neighbor, can I count on you? Neighbor, will you pray for me? Neighbor, will you help me through? Neighbor, will. Jesus said you're hypocrites, for you're like unto whited sepulchres, which appear beautiful, but inside are dead men's bones and corruption. I don't know how you can make it if you're looking at outward appearance, because the devil wears Givenchy, the devil wears Bruno Magli's, the devil gets his hair cut, and the devil wears Brioni suits. The devil ain't telling you, I'm getting ready to wreck your life. The devil comes with promises. comes with scopes telling you all kinds of stuff. Then all of a sudden the robes go off, the suit goes off, and you're looking at the sure enough. I feel like preaching here. Give somebody a high five and said, I was shocked when the devil came out, and now I know I'm going to God. Don't show me the pulpitude, show me the spirit. I feel like preaching. Don't let me listen to the words, let me hear the spirit. Give me discernment, Lord. I need to know what I'm dealing with, because I got one life to live. Shake somebody's hand and say, neighbor, I'm excited about your future, because if you get this message today, you'll go to another level. Give somebody a high five and say, neighbor, this is my breakthrough message. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. One writer said, I will lift up mine eyes to the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help. Cometh from the Lord. I will wait patiently on the Lord, for he heard my cry. He brought me out of a horrible pit. He brought my feet on a rock to stay and establish my going. Give somebody a high five for the second to the last time and say, neighbor, I heard him say, upon this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against me. God, we trust. Give somebody a high five for the last time and say, neighbor, I know who to trust. I know who to bring me out. I know who to lift me up. I know who'll make a way when I'm have no way. I know who'll open my eyes when I went in blind. I know his name, and I call his name when I am in trouble. I'll call his name. Jesus, bring me out. Jesus, make a way. Jesus, watch my back. Goodness, mercy, follow me all the days of my life. I know who to trust. Give somebody a high five for the next service and say, neighbor, with all I've been through, I know who to trust. His name is trust. I know who to trust. You can't trust a doctor today because all he wants is money. Give you drugs that you don't even need. But I know who to call on when I'm on the way to the doctor's office. I said, Jesus. I'm closing. I know you're all going home and put some barbecue together, I know. I've been in church all my life. Now, the church has not been in me all my life. And I'm finding that to be successful in anything, you've got to have resources and you got to use them. The greatest resource that we have is the Almighty God. The greatest resource is God. And how often have we bypassed the resource? Now, my music department is our musical resource. So I need anything musical. Why bypass it? Amen. Why should I bypass their gifts, their knowledge of music, their contacts, their network? If I want to bring somebody to this house, I'm going to check with them. And they may say something like, no, that ain't the one. Yes, this is the one. And it's only a phone call, and I'll have him here. And that's that. So now, why should you go into business when the creator of the principles of business is in your heart? It would seem like before you made a move, you'd go to the resource. And he'll tell you it's less than a phone call away. Because while you're on the way, he already prepared them for you coming. And though 40, 50, 60 other people are there, you end up walking out with the prize because you checked your resource. And your resource controls everything that happens in the world. So why should you be broke with a resource like that? This year of breakthrough, we're going to deal with the resource. And he has already invited us. He said, just acknowledge me, because I'm the only one you can trust. The only one you can trust. So as I close for the second time, you don't trust your pastor to be good. You trust God to keep him good. Now that takes the stress. Amen. You don't trust your mate to be faithful. You trust God to keep your mate.